ladies. Hi. Murise. I'm so happy to be here. I'm glad to be back with you. Sunday dosi yedu. Murise, Zirise muri. Arise mabasa. And how is your sweet self? You need to repost it. So yeah, welcome back to our Sunday dose. And let's dive straight into it. Yeah, I'm excited. Why am I excited today is because takuda kupinda next chapter. I did it. Takuda kupinda next chapter. So next week tenge takuita next chapter. Ezvinezvi tapedza chapter yekutanga. Remember tukuita self-discovery, understanding who you are and understanding kuti iwewe une control papi neupenyu hwako. That's discovering who you are. Handiti understand kuti life sezvairi handisi kungorarama in default, handisi kungorarama in automation, but I also have a choice to decide what I want and how I want my life to unfold. We also have choices. So pesa apa patanga ma lesson esatanga tichitavira patikatanga anditi was to introduce the power of choice to you ladies. Kuti you know what, mu life medu matinorarama the way that we think, the way that we feel, you know, our reactions, our behaviors, our actions, the words that we speak, we don't necessarily have to function as if hatina choice. So what we were learning was, in discovering ourselves, we are discovering our power of choice. And we are discovering kuti, yes, this is how I behave, this is how I speak. Saka kana ndisingafarire, and kana ndisingafarire the way I behave, the way I react, the way I speak sometimes, or the way things are mu life mangu, my situations, kana ndisiri kufarira zvinhu zviri kuitika mu life mangu, I also have a power to choose. And saka that's what we were learning about kuti tine mabelief system edu, you know, tine mararamiro atinoita, tine mafungiro atinoita, but you can also be deliberate, kana you can also be intentional about your life. And so do background yesatanga tichita, you know what, the art of joyful living means I am looking at my life and I'm seeing how my life is. Ndikutarisa my areas of life angu, my aspects of life angu, or my aspects of the way I'm living. And then I wonder, the sendiri munhu asiri kufara in this area, and sendiri munhu anofila stuck in this area. And so over I decided, you know what, I actually have a choice to turn some of these things. I actually have a choice to choose pleasure over pain sometimes, because sometimes to not more pain, not knowing kuti you can have a choice. So looking back from what we learned, guys, takatanga ulena from the beginning kuti, you know what, your reality is actually a reflection of how you feel inside. How you perceive things, how you see things, and how you interpret things is actually because of how you feel inside. Iwewe zviri unique zvako, based on my beliefs, my beliefs ako, based on the information that you know or that you have received all along in life mako, and based on your judgments. And saka iwewe munhu ndiwo kaonero katinoita zvinhu kakasiyana, and kakasiyana at your thought level. Saka ndo zvatakadzidza tikaziva kuti akasiyana at your emotional level. Munhu ega ega ane maonero anoita zvinhu, reactions edu atinotoita, munhu ega anoreacta to certain situations really different from the next person. Even the words that we say, the vocabulary that we speak is actually different from the way inoitwa ne the next person. So that's what we were learning pesa apa kuti maonero aunoita zvinhu haazi static. Maonero aunoita zvinhu haazi hard fast. Inozva kuti ndo zvazvinofanira kunge zvakaita, zvinhu hazvichinje. We were talking about our emotions. We talked about our emotions, kuti the way we feel about things can also change because really affected ne background yako, really affected nezvinhu zvawakatichwa, maybe ne culture yako, or where you come from. But you can also decide, if I'm not happy in this area, I can interrogate my beliefs. I can interrogate thought yangu kuti yakambobva kupi, if I'm also not happy about the way I deal maybe my finances, or the way I deal my relationships angu, or even the way I deal nevana, or the way I see my family members. You can also go back to see the chi chinomboita kuti ndifunge kudaro. And so what we were trying to introduce into our lives kune vanga vasingazvizive is just to tell you kuti mu life une choice. Sometimes you have a choice to change your perception. You have a choice to change the way you feel about things, depending on what you decide, depending on what you want. So saka nasi those are true kutarisa kuti, you know what, now you have that background. Yekuziva kuti I can change. Saka the art of joyful living is that knowledge of that awareness yekuti inini I want to choose for myself to be happy most times. I want to choose for myself to feel peaceful most times. I want to choose for myself to be a person who uplifts others most times. I want to choose for myself to be a person who is loving and kind most times. And Saka, it's, ndikupa my examples of where you can have choices to feel good rather than feel bad. Because when a circumstance makes you feel bad, you actually have a choice to turn it around and feel good, and introduce pleasure. Or sakadoma tricks if you focus on your strengths, you can actually feel better. If you focus on your challenges and interpret them as your opportunities of growth, or opportunities of learning, or opportunities of expansion, saka you end up embracing your challenges, because you are going to get a skill set yawanga usina before. So those were the tricks and tools that I discuss about. You know what, you actually have a choice to introduce pleasure in your life over pain. You actually have a choice to see things differently if you choose to. And so ndo zvatangatidzidza epesap. Saka right now ndakuda kupinda mu next stage of our learning yekuti now that you know that you can change the way you feel. Saka takuda kupinda maybe in dealing with my actual situations atinopinda mu life, kana my relationships, kana kutambudzika kwatinongoita, the little things that trouble us. Then we look at those situations good. So how can you introduce pleasure here? How can you stop suffering here? Kana ukapindwa nezvinhu zvakadai. So that's exactly what we will be doing from now onwards, because life yedu yatinogara is made up of different moments, and each minute is a separate moment from the next, because my life medu matinogara right now, my present moment, do not decide that the future yako inenge yakaita sei. And like what I'm doing right now in this moment is determining what I'm going to do in the next minute. It's in that minute determines what I'm going to do. Saka kana ukaziva kuti you actually have a choice to decide kuti, do I want to be happy today? You can actually live your life which you feel like happier most times, because you are deciding on what you want to do. I can give you an example. Each moment yatogara is a segment on itself. Is a segment in itself. Ukafunga makuseni kana uchimuka makuseni, and just waking up is itori a segment on its own. You can actually decide kuti ndamuka makuseni, and how do I want to feel right now? and instead yekungomuka ka wongotanga ungofunga kuti nini nhasi handisi kuda kuenda kubasa handisi kuda kuita se, you can actually decide kuti today this is how I want to feel. Maybe in your prayers, I don't know how you decide wega munhu kuti this is how I want to feel makuseni, and this is how. Saka kumuka cheko is a segment on its own. Zvekuti unogona kutotanga a morning routine. To those people vasina morning routine, you can actually introduce a morning routine yokutoti inini ndikamuka makuseni, this is how I want my day, and I want to prioritize myself. I want to feel good. I want to smile. And womuka magumbezi, what a good morning, maybe kana une partner kana wega, or stretch magumbezi, you make your morning prayers, and maybe decide the course of your day. What am I going to do? What am I going to focus on today? You see, you are introducing intention. This is what I'm going to do today. That's a segment on its own. Kwenda bathroom cheko kunogeza, it's also a segment on its own that you can decide, kuti you know what, and I want to enjoy the things that are in my bathroom. Kana uchitenga kana inonzi bubble bath yako kana toothpaste or your deodorant, you buy the best thing that you can buy on that day. Kana unyazozoti nini ndinoda bubble bath pink kana shower gel pink, you chose them kana matenga andidi. Saka when you are going to bath, make sure you enjoy them. And it was what I uchifarira. So this is the time yekuti kana ndikuenda nogeza, I'm going to enjoy the hot water that I pay for. And I'm going to enjoy the bubble bath and a shower gel here. I'm going to enjoy it because ndakaitenga ndichida, and I'm going to smell it, and I'm going to enjoy, to pay attention how the gel feels on my skin. Kana chi shower scrub jaonoshandisa. You understand? You are introducing pleasure in what you are doing in that moment, in that segment of your life. And undanozoti mvura yandu kugeza iri pa 38 degrees, mashawa edu mazwano kuno Britain akanyorwa unzi 38 degrees or 36 degrees. Todanyatsokuinzwa ndichirova ichindirova paskin. So you are deciding how you are going to feel in that segment, kwete kuti kana waenda unogeza hausitomboziva kuti wageza chirudzi kana kuti sipo yawakatenga uchifarira inonhuhwirira. You are not even paying attention to how it smells. So this is how you introduce pleasure in your life. Could each segment, you can decide, for this segment, how am I going to enjoy it? How is this segment going to be pleasurable for me? Wapedza ugeza, what ndakona nozora mafuta. And us ladies, I know you buy the mama lotion amunoda anonhuhwirira. Wonyatsogara pasi. What I'm going to enjoy my lotion andakatenga. You see what you're doing? You are staying in the present moment. I was going to past, I was going to future. You're not even worried about the day, but you are deciding, I want to enjoy this. Those are shea butter. I like using shea butter. Ndotenga original shea butter, and shea butter inonetsa kuzora mbozi yakaoma kunge ngekendo. Saka ndinoimelt, I like melting into microwave. Ndoizora ichidziya. Saka ndinonyatsoteka time yangu ndoenda ndonomelta shea butter yangu ndogara pasi ndozora, because I like the feeling, and I'm also paying attention to that, and I'm also taking my time ndichinyatsozora, because I bought that shea butter nemari yangu and I love it, and I have to enjoy it every time. And so I'm deciding to be intentional about that segment yekuzora mafuta. Ndikapedza kuzora mafuta ndoti ndakunotsvaka hembe yangu kana iri underwear, ndonotsvaka underwear yangu yandikupfeka yakachena ndoinhuhwirira, because ndakaiwacha muwashing machine nesipo yandakatenga yewashing machine nonhuhwirira. So enjoy those things. That's how you live in the present moment. Wotsvaga hembe yako, because tinotenga isu ini ndopfeka yangu hembe kubasa, vanopfeka uniform kubasa wakanyatsokuaina. Enjoy every minute yekunhuhwirira fresh air. That's how you introduce pleasure in your life. That's how, because the things that make us feel good are these little things. Zvatinotaura kuti little things in life, those are the things that make you feel good, because our goal in life is to feel good. Ndosaka tichibhekana nekutsamwa, ndosaka tisingade vanhu vanotibhowa vatinonyora pamastatus papa kuti my haters muri kutii nhasi. Every time yatinonyora pamastatus tinoriona tonyora kuti ashotwa ngarudze nhasi ndiri kunakidzwa, because we are always thinking of our haters. So this is the time yekufocus on yourself and not include anyone waunofunga kuti anehata anokuhata. Haana nzvimbo in your mind, haana nzvimbo in your life. So when you live in the present moment and enjoy the little things that you're doing, hauna time yekutombofunga kuti my haters are kuitei, because you are engrossed in what you're doing. Kana uchipfeka hembe makuseni, you choose your hembe because wakaitenga hembe wakaitenga uchiida stereo. So this is the time yekuenjoya zvinhu zvako. This is the time yekuenjoya rent yako yaunobhadhara. Isusu vamwe tinobhadhara rent. I enjoy my rent because ndikuisedzera ndikuibhadhara. So I don't waste time ndichifunga hater. I don't waste time ndichifunga vanhu vasipo. But I want to enjoy every minute yemari yangu, you know. But I can only enjoy that when I'm in the present moment. I can only enjoy that when I'm enjoying the things that I have, the things that I bought for myself. Otherwise, hazvikunakidze zvinhu zvaunotenga zvese because uri busy kuita sei kuita worried about the past, uri busy about thinking about the future. And so this is how you introduce, you know, feeling good, because the goal yepashi pano guys is to feel good. Ndosaka tiri kuita the art of joyful living and stress management, because tiri vanhu vasingade stress. Ndosaka tichema kana tine stress, and kana tichema it means we are not feeling good. And but knowing that you have a choice to feel good, then be intentional about it. Introduce feeling good, you know, mu life mako, kuti pese paunofunga kuti ezvinezvi ndikunzwa kunge kahasha, ndikunzwa kunge kusafara. Think about the things that make you feel good. Ndosaka tanga tine majournals, ndosaka tanga tirecord how we feel and zvinhu zvatinoda, because you list them down. Nezuro chaenda katoita another, I'm always listing and adding onto my list ka zvinhu zvandofarira kuita, you know, things that make me feel good, so that kana ndichizviita ka ndinobva ndatoda kunyatsa kuti I'm feeling good here and I want to keep doing it. Because imagine pese pandogara ndichitaura ndoti do more of the things that make you feel good, because that's our goal pasi panapa. Dai kutsamwa kwaitinakidza ka, dai tichigara takatsamwa, you know. But kutsamwa kunototi bhowa, ndosaka tichita tichichema, ndosaka tichikola kuti stress, ndosaka tichitokola kuti depression, because it's not a nice feeling kutsamwa. So ndinogara ndine list yekuti if I want to make myself feel good today, what am I going to do? Ndinonyora kuti smile. I like smiling. And saka ndotozwa kuti pandotosvika kubasa I intend kuti at the moment andopinda basa I'm going to smile at everyone and I'm going to say hello to everyone, because it makes me feel good. And I like talking to people, I like laughing. I remember ndimunhu anga asingatombogona kuseka, but I had to tell myself, to teach myself to laugh, you know, 2 years back. Zvazvoti ndotongogara ndichingoseka because I wanted to learn how to laugh, because ndiri munhu aigara akafrauna asingafari, you know. Ndinoda kubika coffee, steric. I love coffee, I love tea. Saka pese mandiri kubika tea, you know, I take my time. Pese mandiri kubika coffee, I take my time and enjoy, because zvinhu zvandotenga nemari yangu handina ngotenga zvinhu ndozadza mumba zvinhu zvandisinga enjoy. So anything that I buy that I know kuti nhasi ndachitenga ndichida ndashandisa mari yangu, I have to make sure when I bring it home I have to enjoy that thing, and I can only enjoy that thing if I introduce pleasure, you know, and I be intentional kuti ndikunyatsonakidzwa nechinhu ichi. So guys, make a list of things that make you feel good. I love reading, you know, ndinogara ndichingoverenga. Saka pese pandofeel kuti maybe ndine ka anxiety, ndine ka worry, I start, you know, ndogona kutora bhuku rangu ndotanga kuverenga, because reading makes me feel good. So make a list of the things, always make a list of the things that make you feel good, so that unogara unechi uchizvireminder kuti time here yandirofunga kuti and I'm not okay. Remember, I can change that feeling by reaching out for things that make me feel good. And no practice, no exercise yatanga tichita pesa apa guys, always reach out for something that makes you feel good. That's why you are learning about yourself. That's why you are learning to discover yourself, because discovering yourself means I'm learning about the things that I love. I'm learning to know the things that I want, so that I can always decide to go for the things that give me pleasure all the time and avoid the things that give me pain, because that's our goal pasi panapa. Yekunakidzwa neupenyu, otherwise what's the point? What's the point? Kana uri kuita grocery, enjoy cooking. Kana wakubika mumba, enjoy the food that you make, everything that you do, because musi waunoita chinhu chaunobuditsira mari yako kuti unotenga, you are buying that thing because you love it. We surround ourselves nezvinhu mumbaka zvatisingatomboziva kuti tichiinazvo, because we don't pay attention, we don't take time to enjoy the things that we want, that we love. So guys, I'm just inviting you here today, Nasika, Drugita, summary of what we were doing. Could you please enjoy, take time to enjoy the things that you have, that bed that you bought, take time to enjoy it. Have time. paunenge uri mumagumbezi nyatsofila softness yepilo, nyatsofila kuti magumbezi angu ari comfortable, and unyatsoti panapa ndakagara, carpet yako iri mumba, kakapu kako kaukatenga kaunoda. Use those things because they make you happy. That's why you bought them. That's why you bought those things. Anything that you bought to Shinyasoda, enjoy those things. And that's because our goal is to be happy most of the time. The art of joyful living and stress management is do things that give you pleasure. And reach for the things that give you pleasure and stop wasting time on the things that don't give you pleasure, because now you know you have a choice to shift. You are watching yourself. You've been analyzing yourself, you've been observing yourself, and that's good. Tinoda contrast in life medu kuti uziye kuti I must always gravitate to the things that make me happy because I have a choice. Be intentional about your life, and always, even the things that you speak about, but I also like uplifting myself. And saka when I speak, even kana munhu akafona pafoni, ndinotofanira kutogadzira kuti I now know kuti my intention is to always keep myself uplifted. And also make sure that the phone call is uplifting me. Ndikaona kuti munhu ari on the other end, I'm not benefiting from that conversation, kana kuti munhu ari kucomplaina too much, ndinokurumidza kukukata kana ndanga ndizvisiri izvo zvandiri kuexpecta. Ndinotokurumidza kuti manje ndatobhizi because ndakutoona kuti maybe mind yangu yakuita se yakuda kutoaffectwa. And because inini ndoda kuti kana ndichitaura nemunhu, I want to be uplifted by that person, and I also want to uplift that person. But kana isiriyo opportunity yachona ndinozvikata. So you see, ndinozvireduce. It's because I'm intentional about it, was andini kuzvipinza stress. So I choose what I listen to. I even per Facebook, I've stopped being on Facebook. I've stopped being on Instagram, watching zvinondirwadza. Those are kunzoko kune zvinhu zvinotambudzika, kune matambudziko akawanda kunana, but I don't expose myself to those things because I can't help those situations. But do not decide out. I'm not going to listen to Anita Makua. I'm not going to listen to people who fight because I am intentional about it. Ini ndoda kuona vanhu vari kusekerera. Saka ndiripo social media ndoda kutsvaga vanhu vari kufara, but kufara kunondi uplifta inini. And so be intentional about the things that you read. Be intentional about the things that you consume. And per social media, be intentional. Find things that make you feel happy all the time. That's the art of joyful living. Now you know, because you a choice how you think about things, how you feel about things, in the words to say. You have to decide who is the person that I want to become. In what makes me feel good, and then do it. And so I'm just trying to talk about and ask you guys, enjoy your life, enjoy the things that you have by paying attention to those things, by living in the present moment and actually enjoying the things that you have. Don't you know ugare feel good all the time. And fine. Saka nastatu itakasamari kedu so. And but next week takutanga another chapter you looking at real life situations. I don't know I'm going to start with real life situations and how you can introduce, how you can change the way you see things, how you can change the way you feel about things so that you can bring pleasure to yourself in situations taunofunga kuti you have no choice, or taunofunga kuti you have no alternative. In those situations tiri kukupa grief kuti you know what, I don't even know what to do here, I don't even know what what to say, but ndikutambudzika nezvakati. So that's what I'll be helping you guys with. In situations like this, you can help yourself with I say like this. Tichitarisachi thoughts, tichitarisachi how we feel, tichitarisachi our actions, my reactions edu, tichitarisa what we say, in certain situations, tichitarisa ma behaviors edu could contributor say towards kutsama kwatinoita isusu when you are in a situation. So how can you change your perception? How can you change how you see things so that you feel good? Because remember, our goal is to feel good most of the time. So thank you. That's all we have. I'm preparing you for next week, but at the same time, summarizing what we have been doing, guys, is to show kuti inini ndine choice in how I feel at the end of the day. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.